What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. Quickly, I want to apologize. I lost my voice a couple days ago, so I apologize if my voice does not sound great, but I did want to get out a video before the Super Bowl, talking about this concept. And I don't know if I'm going to post a video tomorrow because it is the Super Bowl and everyone's just really busy. I got things going on, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to post, but content should be back. I'm sorry, I lost my voice. I just haven't been able to make a video in the last couple days. But, with all that in mind, let's get into this. And before you guys come after me, because I know a lot of Ravens fans will disagree, just hear me out. Just hear me out. And if you still disagree, that's completely okay. Let me know if you disagree. If you think, no, I will never root for the Bengals, totally fine. You can choose who you want to root for. Root for the Rams in the Super Bowl. That's totally okay. But I want to give the case on why Ravens fans should be rooting for the Bengals. Now, first off, I want to say this. I believe, and again, these are my opinions. Everybody has a different opinion of what a fan is. Okay, everybody does. All right, that is completely okay. But I believe that, as a Ravens fan, my ultimate goal as a fan is to root for the Ravens to have the most success possible. Multiple Super Bowls, okay? That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for a dynasty. Okay? Now, that means that sometimes I have to root for things that are unorthodox in order to get the Ravens to that dynasty. As an example, a smaller example, things like firing Greg Roman, where it's like, yeah, Greg Roman will get us to the playoffs and things like that. But I want us to go farther. I want the Ravens to be better. So that's where that kind of comes from. And so with that mentality of the Ravens, trying to build that dynasty, I'm rooting for things to happen that will help make the dynasty happen. And the Bengals winning the Super Bowl can help make that. Because the Baltimore Ravens cannot change what the Bengals do at all. They can't. You got to focus on making your team better. However, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, it absolutely puts pressure on the Baltimore Ravens. It absolutely does. So the Baltimore Ravens are now looking at it like, okay, we got a Super Bowl winner in our division. We need to be able to compete with that. And when you're trying to compete with a Super Bowl winner, you're going to be making more moves to make your team greater, because the Bengals are not just a team that's one and done, I don't think. Now, I think they just have a lot of young pieces. Am I saying they're going to win 10 Super Bowls? Absolutely not. But they have a lot of young pieces. So the Ravens have to look at that and say, okay, these guys got Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Mixon. These guys are like set in Cincinnati for a while. How do we compete with that? We need to get better. We need to go get players that can help us beat them. And having that target in your division, I think, is more than having that target outside the division. For example, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what Ravens fans have been focused on, right? The last 3 years has been, how do we beat the Chiefs? That's been the problem. How do we get past the Chiefs? And a lot of times we don't get to play the Chiefs. So it's tough to gauge. But the Bengals, we get to play the Bengals twice a year. We can absolutely gauge that. And we can absolutely figure out what we need to do to get better, to be able to beat them, to be able to get to that level of winning Super Bowls. That is why I think we should be rooting for the Bengals to win, is because that pressure is automatically put on them. Now, if they lose, there's still pressure. There's absolutely still pressure. Okay, a team in our division made it to the Super Bowl, but it's a lot more if they win. Because I think a lot of people, including myself, I think the Rams are going to win. I've said that before. I think the Rams are going to win. But if the Bengals do win against that defensive line, against Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr., you got to figure out how you're going to be able to beat them. I'm not saying they're unbeatable by any means. I'm just trying to say that the front office, the coaching staff, they're going to feel that pressure. And rooting for the Bengals or not, in my opinion, doesn't affect if you're a Ravens fan. Because yes, I would prefer if the Bengals didn't win a Super Bowl. In the regular season, I'm rooting against them. in the playoffs, I'm rooting against them. But all of a sudden, when they get to that Super Bowl, it's like, wait a minute. If the Rams win the Super Bowl, that doesn't affect the Ravens. The only thing that the Bengals winning the Super Bowl that would do that's a negative is their fans will be really annoying. But that's all fans. I mean, that's football. That's sports. When you have annoying fans because they want a championship, that makes you angry because you want to be better than them. And once again, that's putting more pressure on the team. And so that's why I think the Ravens fans, I think we should all root for the Bengals to win the Super Bowl because I think it'll push the Ravens farther. And even though they're a division rival, they're a rival of the Ravens, we don't want them to have a lot of success. Them having success could reflect well on the Baltimore Ravens' future and what they have to do. Because maybe the Ravens are sitting in the draft and they're like, okay, yeah, we want this. And then they're like, well, wait a minute. The Bengals got this guy. We kind of need to beat them. So then they start going, okay, we need some potential guys. We need yada, 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 whatever it is. Hey, we need an edge rusher. Hey, we need to actually get an elite safety. We need Tyrann Mathieu to be able to slow them down. Whatever it is. The Ravens will have to start figuring out how to counter them because they haven't had a team in their division that they've been trying to counter. It's been the Chiefs. It's been the Bills. But when you have to try and counter your own division, it's different. The AFC North had been countering each other by building up great defenses and run games. That's how it's been for the last, decade, 2 decades, whatever it is. But in the last couple of years, it's like, oh, yeah, Browns have Baker. The Steelers, they got Big Ben and Juju and Chase Claypool. The Bengals, they have Andy Dalton and like AJ Green. So it's kind of like pass heavy, but also it wasn't like a super worried look about the other team's offenses. But now it's like you're looking at it and you're like, oh, wow, we've got a passing attack in Cincinnati. We gotta stop that. But then there's also a rushing attack in Pittsburgh with Najee Harris. We got to stop that. And it's forming like the new future of the Ravens defense is being formed by the teams they have to play, the teams they have to beat. And if the team that you have to beat, let's say you have to beat the 2008 Houston Texans. I have no idea how good they were. I'm assuming they were pretty bad. Maybe they were good. I don't know. If you have to design a team to beat them, the team may not be amazing, but they could still beat them. But if your goal is to beat the 2007 Patriots, you're going to have to put together a really good team to beat them. And so when you have those standards of teams that you're trying to beat, when they get higher, your team has to be better. You need to make sure your team is better. And so by the Bengals winning the Super Bowl, it needs to make the Ravens make their team better. And I can talk about, things to make them better and all those other videos. Those all come out all the time. How to make the Ravens better and things like that. But the Bengals being better puts pressure on the Ravens to make their team better. That's my thoughts on it. If you guys completely disagree, that's totally okay. I don't know. It's kind of an odd concept that I was thinking about today, but I was like, I feel like it's worth talking about. So let me know who you guys are rooting for, who you think will win, Super Bowl predictions, all that type of stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I will be back potentially tomorrow if there's Ravens news and I have time, during the Super Bowl, but I will definitely be back for Monday for Mock Draft Monday. Very excited for that. Thank you all. See y'all again.